Have you ever stopped to think that you're not just seeing the world, you're actively building it right now inside your own head? Yep, it's way more complicated than just opening your eyes. So let's dive in and explore the incredible process of how our brains literally construct reality.
Okay, before we get into any definitions or jargon, just look at this. Take a good long look. What's the very first thing that pops out to you?
So, what did you get? Was it a fancy white vase on a black background? Or was it two faces looking right at each other? Now here's the really cool part. The image itself isn't changing at all, not one pixel, but your experience of it can flip back and forth. To understand why that's happening, we need to pull apart two very different processes. First up, we've got sensation. Think of this as the starting line. It's simply the process of your body collecting all the raw data from the world around you. It's kind of like going to the grocery store and just loading your cart with raw ingredients.
So sensation is just that first direct point of contact. The light from your screen hitting your eyes, the sound of my voice reaching your ears. That's sensation. There's no meaning attached to it yet. None at all. It's just physical energy being picked up by your sense organs.
And this little journey is basically a four-step process. First, there's a stimulus, like light. Then, tiny receptor cells in your eyes grab that energy. After that comes a crucial step called transduction, which is really just a fancy word for converting that light energy into electrical signals the brain can actually read. And finally, those signals zip along your nerves, straight to your brain, ready for the main event.
And that main event? That is perception. This is where the real magic happens. This is what your brain does with all of that raw data it just received. So if sensation was just gathering the ingredients, perception is the master chef. It's a super active process where your brain takes all those jumbled electrical signals, sorts them, organizes them, and then interprets them to create the meaningful, conscious experience that you call reality.
So let's put it side by side to make it crystal clear. Sensation is just the raw data, that basic feeling that something is present. But perception is where the meaning gets added. It's recognizing what that something actually is. A friend's face, a song you love, the smell of coffee.
You know, there's a really simple way to put it. Perception is sensation plus the meaning of the situation. That's it. You don't just sense a random jumble of pixels on your screen right now. Your brain perceives them as words and images.
But how in the world does the brain do this so fast? I mean, it is getting absolutely flooded with sensory data every single millisecond. To cope with this fire hose of information, it has to use a set of incredibly efficient shortcuts, organizing principles, to make sense of it all almost instantly. A lot of these rules come from what's called Gestalt psychology, and the core idea is pretty simple. The whole is different from the sum of its parts. What that really means is our brains are hardwired to see organized patterns and whole objects, not just a bunch of disconnected pieces. Let's go back to that first image we looked at. The most basic rule at play here is called figure ground. Your brain instinctively tries to separate a main object, the figure, from whatever's behind it, the ground. That's exactly why you can only see the vase or the two faces at any given moment. Your brain has to choose which one is the star of the show.
Here's another one of these cool mental shortcuts. The law of proximity. Take a look here. You don't see 12 individual lines, do you? Of course not. You instinctively see 3 distinct columns. Your brain just automatically groups things together that are close to each other. It's all about efficiency. It's way faster to process 3 groups than 12 separate items. Or how about this one? That's not a complete square, is it? But I bet you saw a square immediately. That's the law of closure at work. Your brain wants to see complete, whole shapes so badly that it will literally fill in the missing gaps for you. And you can see how this would be a pretty handy survival skill, right? Seeing a whole predator from just a partial glimpse could make all the difference. Now let's talk about another powerhouse rule that keeps our world stable and predictable. It's called perceptual constancy. This is your brain's amazing ability to see objects as consistent, even when the raw sensory data is changing like crazy. Okay, imagine this. Your friend is standing across the room, maybe 20 feet away. The actual image they're casting on the retina at the back of your eye is super tiny. Now, they walk towards you and stop just 10 feet away. They've cut the distance in half. So, from a pure sensory standpoint, the image hitting your retina has now literally doubled in size. So, here's the big question. Did your friend just magically grow twice as tall? Because according to the raw data your eyeballs just collected, that's exactly what happened. Of course not.
Sounds silly, right? This is your perception kicking in and totally overriding that raw sensation. Your brain combines the changing image with all sorts of other cues to know, hey, that person didn't grow, they just got closer. That's size constancy, and it's a huge part of what keeps your world from feeling like a bizarre, shifting funhouse.
So these mental shortcuts are absolutely crucial. They help us function, but they aren't foolproof. Sometimes, the very same rules that help us build a stable reality can be tricked, and that leads us into the fascinating world of illusions.
Now, an illusion is not a hallucination. You're not seeing something that isn't really there. The physical stimulus, the lines on the page, are real. An illusion is what happens when your brain misinterprets that real stimulus, leading to a false perception of reality.
And this is one of the most famous examples there is. All we have are two simple horizontal lines. One has fins pointing in, and the other has fins pointing out.
So take a second, make a call. Which one looks longer to you? The top one or the bottom one? Just go with your gut instinct.
You ready for this? They are exactly the same length. I know, right? Your brain gets tricked by those fins. It sees the outgoing ones and thinks, oh, that looks like the far corner of a room. So it assumes that line must be farther away. And your brain's logic says if something is farther away but looks the same size, it must actually be bigger. It's a powerful reminder that what you perceive isn't just what you see, it's the reality your brain constructs for you. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, just how much of what we call objective reality is actually our own personal, beautifully tailored illusion.